are making another nightgown in this video. I am so excited about it. It is something I found on the Pinterest. We are going to muscle. I'm not sure if we're going to use a pattern or not, or if we're going to muscle our way through it, but I got some ideas. I want to know what I know the direction I want to head, and we will see how it turns out. Alright, so the whole idea of this is like a swooped neckline, then a sleeveless number, and then it's just going to go out and it's going to have this lovely, luscious ruffle at the bottom. I think I first should look through my patterns and see about a starting off point. Oh, don't mind the whole... Right? We're in a mood. Well, I planted my garden this morning. That's something else I've been dreaming about doing for a number of years, and now that I'm emerging on the other side of motherhood, I planted a veggie garden this morning. Very exciting. So I thought it would be fun to look through some fabric together for some nightgowns, because you have been wanting nightgowns. Right?
For years.
For years?
Yes.
Well, we're getting around to it, kid. You see, Farmhouse fabrics. Which color of this did you want? There's a pink and a blue. There's a white and an ivory. There's a purple. No, sorry. There's a yellow. There's a minty green. And there's an aqua. Which color? Aqua? This one down here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, they have so much linen. There's, ooh, petal pink. I think we should branch out from a different color from what you just picked. Okay, so there's this blue. There's a candlelight, which is like a white, like an off-white. And then there's this petal pink color. Okay, like a petal pink. And then there's also this one that's a soft pink color.
Soft pink petal and the petal.
Pick one or the other. So this is going to be the soft pink. Okay.
Socks.
Alrighty, we are definitely going to pre-wash this fabric with it being linen and all. So there we go. Now then, I pick a few patterns so I have a starting off point. I'm searching for a bodice that I like that lends itself well to being sleeveless. Cutting that bodice out, the bodice front, the bodice back, y'all know the drill. And now I'm holding it up so I can measure how long the skirt should be. Audrey loves all the skirts on her dresses. She wants all the width and all the length. Definitely a maxi dress fan. At the measured length, I'm pulling a thread. No, it's not my favorite thing to do, and I'm not very good at it. It's kind of tedious, but that's okay. Lesson in patience, right? I pull one thread to establish a clean start for the top of the skirt, and now I'm pulling another thread at the bottom mark of the skirt. At least for me, the process goes: pull a little, squish over the gathers, the thread breaks. Cut along the thread line. Rinse and repeat. Pull a little, squish over the gathers, the thread breaks. Cut along the thread line. On and on and on.
Oh, it looks like it's gonna rain outside. Oh, it'll be good for all the plants I just did. Anywho, so I got all the threads drawn for my skirt pieces. They are here. And I'm thinking I'm going to join these two panels together using flat felt seams instead of French seams. I think the finish will be nicer with this linen. It's like a medium weight. This is the chambray, if I'm saying that right, linen from Farmhouse Fabrics. I've used this so much. I used this once for Easter. I did a whole like white and blue Easter with the white and blue chambray linen. I love this stuff. It's like a medium to lightish weight. Like, it's not handkerchief linen, but it's, yeah, medium to lightweight. I am just my descriptions. Anywho, flat felt seams going into the sides.
So, flat felt seams, they are one of my favorites. Basically, you join the fabric together, right sides together. Iron that seam open and then trim up one side of the seam. I like to pick the back side of the seams since that's where some stitchings are going to go. So if you do the back side, those stitches will be on the back of the skirt, but whatevs. It's kind of splitting hairs. Now fold the other side of the seam so the raw edge is tucked under and place that on top of the smaller side of the seam. Makes sense? I hope so. I'm really glad there's a visual. But this is so satisfying. Stitching the second pass of this flat felt seam, it is such a tidy and strong solution.
So I've got my skirt together, it's got the flat felt seams on the sides, and I really like that choice. I mean, I love me a good French seam, don't get me wrong, but I like this. It's just, there's just no little nub going back and forth, right? It's just like, just a nice flat felt seam. Let me get you off of, there we go. Hopefully you don't hear the lens anymore. Alright, so now I've got to gather this up, put the ruffle on the bottom, and put this to the bodice, and then do the edges. So I think first I'm going to do the ruffle, which means I need to pull out 4 strips, you know, do the whole thread thing for 4 strips to go around, because I've got two, you know, salvage to salvage for the skirt. So if I do 4 salvage to salvage, that means I'll have like a 2x gather. You with me? Like 2 and then times 2 gives me to the 4. So I'll have a 2x gather ratio, roughly. And I think that'll be pretty for the bottom. Kind of like just, you know, poof out enough, but not too much. And I don't know. I think that'll be good. So we'll see. And then we'll get on to the bodice. So let's do the ruffle first. Yeah, let's do that. Well, I pulled this out on 90 degrees, not the salvage side, but the cross grain. And okay, so what do we have now? So I've got 2 panels. I didn't realize until I was on the second panel, and I was like pulling the thread, and I was like, this is so short. And then I'm looking at it, and I'm, you know, I sew in a tight area, and just flipped around on me between that and lack of sleep. I'm just, here we are. So I've got 2 panels now. Let's see, that's 1 yard. And so it was whatever I had left, you know, on like whatever I had left, right? I cut out my bodice, I cut out the 2 panels for the skirt, so whatever I had left from what I ordered was the length that this is. So that's 2. So this is 36 times 36 is 72, plus 8 is 80, times 2 is 160. What is, so I've got 160, I've got, on my skirt now, I've got, this is somewhere like 60 inches wide, so that's 120, 160, so I've got 40 inches extra. But, let's see, 40 inches over, that's not going to be enough, is it? So I could do a 3rd panel. That would give me another 80 inches extra. Sorry, that would give me 80 inches total extra. So 80 inches total extra distributed over 120 inches. That sounds better. So I think I need 1 more panel.
Oh, maths. So yeah, I put 3 lengths together for this ruffle. I'm getting excited about the finished result. I mean, how dreamy does a full ruffle linen gown sound? I want one for myself. I've only done this a handful of times. I know a lot of folks love it and it sounds like a great idea, but the handful of times I've tried it, it just doesn't work for me. I've broken several needles, waving my white flag at this point and returning to my sewing machine to put 2 rows of gathering stitches. Now to gather this beast of a ruffle. It is another chance to exercise some patience. When I get the gathers up, you know, it is easier to work around. Then I join the massive strip of fabric together, joining it together so it becomes one big loop. One big gathered linen loop. So luscious. Now I'm joining this luscious gathered loop. Can I say luscious anymore? It's just really dreamy. I'm really digging it. But I take this gathered loop to the bottom of the skirt, adjusting the gathers and length as needed. A little bit of a labor of love, but man, check out this fabric, all the lovely gathers. You see how the light is catching it? It is so dreamy. So now I'm sewing this massive gathered ruffle to the bottom of the skirt. Gotta say, it's kind of a feeling of relief getting all those gathers secured down. Switching gears now to the bodice. I joined the shoulder seams together via flat felt seams, and I got the back facing folded over into place as well. For the neckline and the arm size, I have this Pico fabric bias band material. It is such a lovely solution, quick, easy, and pretty. Gotta love that combination, right? I love how it picks up on this whole dreamy vibe we've got going on.
Alright, so we are at a new day than when I saw you last time. And we are at the point now where I've got all of this skirt together. You see the lovely ruffle? So luscious, right? I love it, love it, love it, love it. It was a pain in the butt to gather. I do not think, so I did the pleater thing, right? And I'm not used to doing that route. I can see it being beneficial, but with it being linen and all the seams and everything, and I was worried about it, and I had a good right to be worried about it because it kind of blew up in my face and became a hot mess in a hurry. I lost 2 pleating needles over it, and then at one point they all fell out. So that, in my book, was not worth it. But it's done and we are moving on. So when I went to gather at the top of the skirt, I did not use my pleater. I just did it the old-fashioned and gathered her up by the good old sewing machine. So I've got my skirt. Yay! And I've got my top. At this point also, the whole thing is together with flat felt seams. Say that 10 times fast. And I'm really digging it. So I think it just sort of happened. I don't know. I just was like, flat felt seams. Haven't seen you in a while. Well, let's do that. So I did. And I really am enjoying it. It's like I want to make a dress for myself now. Telling Charlie earlier, I want to make a dress for myself now using all flat felt seams. They're just yummy. I love me a good French seam, don't get me wrong. But really enjoying this. So I need to put a placket in this skirt. And then I need to put the skirt to the bodice and tidy some things up. And we will get into that. I'm not sure how some stuff is going to get tidied up. We shall see.
I put a placket into the back of the skirt with a strip of linen. So yeah, a self-placket situation. I think that's how you would call it. And drum roll, please. Joining that skirt to the bodice, I know, pop the bubbly. But now, how to tidy up the inside. I want it to be beautiful on the inside. The flat felt seams are shining back at me. But we've got these 2 seams full of gathered linen, and well, we need to make them pretty. So I grabbed some bias strips of fabric, trimmed down the waist seam, and stitched the bias strip to one side of the seam, not going through the bodice on this pass. For the next pass, I fold under the raw edge of the bias strip, and now I'm going through the bodice, which I think will add some appreciated support to the bodice. I mean, we do have a decently heavy skirt at this point.
Alright, so new day. We have just finished. I gotta keep my voice down. Got the baby monitor back there on my lamp. Anywho, I have just finished this sweet nightgown. Okay, it's not all the way finished, but all of the machine sewing is done. I just gotta put the buttonholes in, which is so much fun. For me, I do hand-done buttonholes. They are fun. They are not stressful. They work out every time. There's no jamming. There's no all the things, okay? No need to drink wine just to put some buttonholes in. I remember those days. Anywho, so isn't this sweet? I love the ruffle at the back. So I'm at the point of putting buttonholes in, but I wanted to say some things. Oh my gosh, all the buttons. Are you guys, I'm not the only one, right? Where I want to collect all the buttons. I want to have all the things. Now I think in this case, it's better to have a button without a shank on it, since it's going to be a nightgown. I want her to like roll over and have this shank into her back or something like that. Or just, you know what I mean? It's a sleeping thing. So, thinking a flat button. And I think there's some stuff that we should talk about because what am I trying to say? You don't need to be completely set up to sew. Louder for those in the back, you don't need to be completely set up to sew. You don't need to be completely set up with all of the organizers and all of the space and all the tables and all of the surfaces and all the right machines and everything else to sew and enjoy your time and have, put together something that you are happy with, proud of, got enjoyment while you're putting it together. Throughout the years, I have gotten a whole range of lovely comments, and some are truly lovely, and some are like, we're just going to block, XXX, whatever, right? I've gotten the comments of like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to do that with babies? Why are you cutting fabric out on the floor? Why are you doing that? Like, guys, you don't need to be completely set up to sew. Use what you have. Look at me. I'm in this little corner, right? And I have sewn in a lot smaller of spaces. This is probably 8 feet from this wall to my sewing machine. Okay, so this is probably like 8 feet, and then this direction is maybe 10. It's not a whole lot of space, guys. And often it's becoming less now that I'm really sleeping. You see she's in there sleeping on her own, so I'm taking advantage of nap time. But often I'm in here with a baby, you know. I've been doing this in this little space since Daisy was born. Before that, I was halfway, like I turned half of our small little room that we were using as a master, whatever. It's just been a thing, the last couple of years. Especially with the world being on fire, and then with all the kiddos, and without the local support, it's just been a thing. And you do the best you can with what you have. So don't let it stop you from sewing. If you feel like you don't have just all the workspace, hi, I don't either. Just do what you can and enjoy what you can. I am not over here sewing quilts for a reason, because that would not be enjoyable for me. It's a small space. I do enjoy sewing quilts, but I would absolutely pull my hair out in a size like this. So baby gowns are good. Even dresses for myself, that's totally doable in a size like this. So, think about it like that. Don't let that stop you. If you need to cut out stuff on the dining room table, I have been there before. It's all good and dandy. Cut out things on the floor after the kiddos go to sleep. Been there before. It's all good. It's all good. Okay? There is a way to do this and enjoy it and not lose your mind and have it be a therapeutic thing. I just wanted to say that little tidbit because I know things were blowing up on my face earlier in the video, and that's fine. Well, I mean, it wasn't fine, but it shouldn't stop you from sewing. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so buttons. On to the important things. Buttons. What buttons should I use for this? Oh my gosh, these are like little vintage mother of pearl buttons. And the holes on them are so fun.
Adding some darling vintage buttons via hand-sewn buttonholes with silk buttonhole twist. Go check out this fun video combining Dr. Seuss with heirloom sewing. I know, how fun! If y'all have any questions, please put them down in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. And as always, I appreciate y'all for watching and I hope to catch y'all next time.